Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So guys, the title alone, let's make some announcements real quick. If you would like to learn how to work energy the way I do, get really tapped into your personal power, tap into your potential, really just completely change your life based on your terms and your time, go check out my workshops and certification program at k33academy.com/store. You can see everything I'm offering right now. I am going to be running another cycle of my level 1 certification program. There's still time for you to be able to complete a payment plan if that's going to be something that helps you to make that happen. Go check it out, k33academy.com. Okay, guys, we got to start. Wait. No, hold on. There was like karma. Okay, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of energy, just a lot. And it kind of is what it is. It is what it is. I don't know. Someone's getting some karma. Hopefully it's not y'all, you know? Well, it says it's getting messy for them, not you. Y'all, I'm just gonna get cards ready, pull cards and leave it at that. Ooh, get messy. I don't know what's going on. I am all right. Let me just okay. Oh. Sensing a lot of elevations in frequency, elevations in anxiety. I know it's not mine. None of these energies or feelings have anything to do with me at all. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if some type of cross watcher for you has popped on and is like wanting to know how their foolery is going to play out, hoping so intensely that you'll revert back to the same space of allowing them to get away with whatever you've allowed them to get away with thus far. I don't feel like you're going to be returning back to that space. I just don't. I feel very strongly that you're over it. You guys, okay, for people who are cross-watching for empaths, especially if you're cross-watching for an empathic Piscean, there's just something that happens once a Piscean is done. There's just something that happens, and whatever it is that happens, consider that your karma in a negative way. I feel like when a Piscean is very balanced, it takes a lot to push them into a space of toxicity. And even then, I mean, is it really toxic, or are you finally getting the reaction you put so much effort into getting out of them? I mean, there's this image. Let me find it. Where is it? I know you guys have seen this meme. It's hilarious. It is hilarious. Oh my god, why do they look like Joy Joy? Why do they look like Joy Joy? Okay, I'm gonna show you this. It's not exactly the one that I was looking for, but it'll do. It'll do. It'll do. Let's see. Let's try and save this. Oh, it's hold on. Okay. Let's do that. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, it's gonna keep doing that. How about this? How about this? Screenshot. Okay, this is the sense that I'm getting, okay? This kind of like it cracks me up because I'd be sick of people who are like this. They do all this stuff to you, thinking you'll never do anything to correct it. And maybe you haven't for a while, and that's why they think they can get away with whatever they want. Reality is every decision, it has a consequence. Okay? Every decision has some type of consequence. So let's go ahead and share this. It's like this, right? They think they could just keep biting you. And then when you bite them back, it's like, ah! Why does she look like Joy Joy? Yeah. I mean, I'm not encouraging you to bite anyone, but it's kind of this thing of, are you really starting to believe that you're the bad person? You know that that's gaslighting, right? You know? Oh, sorry. Lisa, send it to me. Send it to me. She says, I seen a meme I wanted to send you on Facebook. It's a pic of a clown, and it says, just because a clown moves into a palace doesn't make him king. It makes him a palace. It makes a palace a circus. Yes. I don't live in a circus, though. You know what I mean? Do you live in a circus? There's this thing I used to say, not my monkeys, not my circus. I used to just like keep saying that on repeat. You got to just let people go through whatever process they're in because they need to learn what they need to learn. This whole thing of like, because I'm in the process too. Are you guys in the process of learning how to accept when life has your back? How to accept when you being a good person, is kind of, I don't know that it's working in your favor. I don't know that it's something like that. It's kind of just like, it's a sense of you being a good person, you being who you are, is really causing creation itself, life itself, to stand up for you, to protect you. And I think for many of us, part of the process that we're in is that we're learning how to accept this, how to allow for things to just be instead of running and rushing to save the very people who were trying to throw you into the fire to begin with. And I don't know if it's just me, because I'm totally that person that's like, you do me so wrong, and then finally life is going to bite you in the butt, and then I'm like, oh my god, but no, don't bite them too hard. Look, you know how I feel about this. Look at this. Hold on. This is our day. It's me and my girl. This is how we're feeling about all of this. We're over it. We're over it. We're so far beyond. Look at her face. You know what I'm saying? That right there. That's the feel. Kind of just like, it just is what it is. That's how we started the day. Look at her. Look at her. She's just like. She's staring out the windows. She's looking for a way out. She's looking for a way out. Yeah, she's looking for the way out. She wants out. I'll just say it. The only way out is in. That's the only way you get out of the situation that you're struggling to get out of. Going right through it. Deep dive into that and allow yourself the process. Just allow, All right. You're heavily protected. There's oh oh okay, so my voice just dropped a couple octaves. So here's the thing, okay? There's a displacement going on. And what was once displaced is coming back home. Ooh, coming back home to roost. What does that actually fully mean? When a bird roosts somewhere, it rests there. This rather old saying, chickens have come home to roost, is normally used to mean that the bad things that someone has done in the past have come back to bite or haunt the individual. It is what it is. It is what it is. I've heard the saying. I didn't quite know what it meant. I thought it was just kind of like, pecking at the dirt. Ooh. Wow. Oh, wow. So the past stuff is coming back. And I think it's stuff that was done to you. Ooh, I am seeing this so much all the way around. I am seeing this so much. And ooh, it's happening all around you, but it's not happening to you. Right? So there are those, and again, this is not something that is your fault. For those who are feeling badly, think about it. If you're someone who feels badly about a person choosing their karmic load, you really think you're someone that hurts people intentionally? When you're constantly so worried about being a bad person and hurting people's feelings, do you really think that you are the person who is hurting people's feelings? That's like my belief that, it's always the really good mothers who are so worried about being a bad mom, right? And it's always the lackluster mothers who are so convinced they are the best, most coolest mom because they're BFFs with their children. And it's like, you know, my children are my friends, but before that, I'm their mother. And there will be times they will make decisions on their behalf that they do not like, that they do not understand. And I'm willing to sustain the onslaught of their wrath so long as I know I did or chose what was in their highest interest. Right? So it's always this thing of, I see reflection in other mothers who come to me and like share space with me and are inconsolable in their fear that they haven't done enough, right? And I always remind them this. It's always the greatest moms that are so heavily worried, heavily guilted, shamed into this fear that they're not enough of a mother for their child. I believe we all pick the person that is our parent, both parents. I believe we choose that before we come into our body. I believe that creation has so much love for us that it allows us the freedom to choose who is the best candidate for that role. We get to choose that. And so, it's not about comparing your ability to mother your child versus someone else's ability to mother their child. It's about realizing those who are so worried about their performance usually are the ones who perform the best without even realizing it. And maybe the problem is that you don't give yourself the credit that you have earned, rightfully earned, right? So if you're applying this to your personal circumstance, it's kind of this thing of like, how long did it take for you to get to this space? How long? Was it like someone irritated you and you were right there? Was it they've been rude to you 2 or 3 times? Was it a couple weeks? A couple months? Has it been a couple years? Because I mean, a couple weeks, I would kind of be like, okay, maybe that person shouldn't have access to you. Just stop. Don't let them get to you. Get out of that space. But if this person consistently goes out of their way to access you, I mean, at some point, the actions that you take to finally halt that behavior is justified, is appropriate, is necessary, right? At some point, at some point. And we have to allow the things to play out in the way that it plays out. Once we initiate things, we have to see it through. We have to see it through. Once you initiate the correction, it must be fully corrected. Do not stop it in the middle of the correction. And it's this thing of feeling as though the correction is the very thing that will clear your pathway. There's so much debris in your pathway. So much has overshot you from whatever this circumstance is. And it's been littered across your pathway and it's slowing your progression. They'll blame you for the situation, right? That's what toxic people do. They can never take accountability for their actions. You can have compassion for someone and not be their doormat, not be their enabler. You can have compassion for someone and still allow them to receive the consequences of all the actions they have consciously chosen to take. It's not for you to save them from the reality of what they create for themselves, the hardship they've created for you. I'm not encouraging you to be a mean person. I'm encouraging you to love yourself. These are the very people who have convinced you are worth less than what you are. These, for some, are the very people who have convinced you're worthless, period. That is a lie. They need you to believe that. Because if you don't believe that lie, you will see with clarity what you have endured, the severity of the treatment. So you guys are aware I have this like crazy stalker, and I'm not using crazy as an adjective. I'm talking about clinical, like this crazy stalker who's been absolutely like death threats left and right, for me, my children, my husband, my brother, my 2-year-old niece, and then death threats to multiple people in our community. This mofo is trying to convince me that I was bullying him. Yeah? That every single live stream is about him. Everything I say is about him. And we have no lives. And so all we do as a community is gang up and bully him. No, I'm pretty sure I'm just sick of you. It's been a couple years already. Just stop, Emmy. Stop what? The criminal proceedings? No. No, I will not. I won't. You forced me to invest 3-4 years of my life into delivering the consequences you work so hard to receive. None of that is my fault. None of that is our community's fault. This is how their mindsets work. This is how. How many of you have experienced that where you know you didn't do anything? You can hold yourself accountable. You're not the type of person that can never take ownership of the things that you do. Like, for example, if I'm having a bad day and I snap at you, I'm rude to you for no reason, you didn't do anything, and you snap back, you know what? I initiated that. I'm sorry. You didn't deserve that. Right? So if you can do that, you can hold yourself accountable for the things that you say and do. It's not your fault. You didn't do something. They're trying to convince you. This is the period where you both will learn what you need to learn. They're going to learn about consequences and you're going to learn about self-love. You're going to learn about empowerment. You're going to learn about why you will not allow this to ever be done to you again. The focus is you. How will you learn? How will you grow? The focus is you. Let them have whatever consequence they earned. They earned that. They earned that. It's not for you to sit there and feel badly like, oh, maybe I just shouldn't have said anything. No, you absolutely should have said something. You absolutely should have said something. That was long overdue. Very, very long overdue. This masculine energy. So for some of you, this is an individual, right? We already know as a community, sometimes when this card pops up, it's like a twin flame, twin ray message. It could possibly be that as well. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. The very intense sense that I get right now is that this card is about allowing the masculine aspects of yourself to be your voice and stick up for yourself. It is the masculine parts of you that have the capacity to defend you in that way. So let it. Let it. Find your voice, speak up, do whatever. Did you guys just see that right now in this area? Do whatever it is that you need to do. Okay? Do what you need to do. Obviously, everything must be legal. Okay? We're not talking about vigilante justice. No, that's a big no. But have the confrontation you need to have. Confront the situation. I don't mean physical altercation. I mean confront it, face it, address it. Address it. Okay? Really allow yourself to be done with this. If you are done with it, it needs to be done. So you cook yourself an amazing gourmet meal. You've used all these pots and pans, all these trays. There's all this stuff spilled on the kitchen counters. and the food is amazing. You're done? Not until the kitchen is clean, right? Dishes need to be washed, counters need to be wiped down, all these different things that need to be put away because you're responsible for what you create, not just the goodness, but also the mess. Mess is not always negative. That mess that's created in the kitchen when you make these gourmet meals, that's evidence of the goodness, the love, the focus, the intention you place in the food. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. It's a very beautiful thing. But cleanup also needs to happen afterwards. It's very important. That's how you stay healthy, right? It's not that you have to avoid the mess, it's that you have to clean the mess once you're done with whatever activity created the mess. Okay? Um Nobody mess with my boo. Boo. That's ironic. My coworker tried to test my character. I checked her and it caught her off guard. Now I'm searching for a new job. I hate toxic work environments. Germanica, you need to start looking into constructive discharge. um, you got to look into constructive discharge, how that applies to your situation, documentation on that. Because you need to be aware of the different options that you have. Not everything needs to be litigated. Not everything needs to be litigated. But yep. That's me in real life. I can be very passive, but I'm not a pushover. Right? I will avoid confrontation as much as I possibly can. But if it comes down to it, if I have to correct your behavior, I promise you're not going to see that coming. You're going to be like, "Oh my god. Yeah, you should call God." Bring God up in this cuz God's on my side. We were both watching you. Bring God into it. But that's the thing. You allowed your masculine energy to really be the very thing that let that coworker know I'm the right one on the right day, the wrong day, any day, baby boo. Ooh, look, you guys, we're like, ooh, ooh, you guys. Okay, Lord Sleepy over here. Dude, Lisa too. Oh my god, you guys. So I feel myself getting riled up. What's actually happening here? What's actually happening here? We gotta look further, right? We gotta look further. It's not just a toxic work environment. It's not just us being passive or someone assuming we're a pushover. It's not just that. What is happening here? As things get messy for the people who have accrued the karmic load, we are being removed from situations that we no longer will benefit from being exposed to. Sometimes you got to be immersed in poisonous environments because, like for like, this whole thing, it's like a homeopathic concept where they will introduce a toxin that will initiate an immunological response. It will initiate the healing, right? So I'm thinking this is really about you finding the aspects of yourself that will make you the proper candidate for the next portion of your journey. This is not about the toxic people. The toxic people are being used by your soul to get you to where you need to be. You know what I'm saying? Oh, when the Care Bear love is done, it's done, and then you get Gargamel. I mean, you want to keep me in Smurfette mode. I'm saying you don't want no Gargamel. you don't you just don't. You just don't. But this explains why I was, hold on. There's a whole bunch of stuff that okay. I felt inclined to kind of revamp a couple of the quotes that was posted on social media. See, I revamped them. When a narcissist tries to gaslight you, take that fuel and use it instead for your rise. Don't just use that fuel to burn yourself down. Use it for your rise. Okay? Here's another good one. To the narcissist of my life, I am a rebellious wildflower. Haphazardly do I grow with roots hidden deep within the soils of my truth. No matter what you do, I won't just survive you. I will grow back. I will blossom. I will thrive. You have no say in this. It is what I choose for myself. I choose love and softness. I choose to live a life I love. You will not change my heart or harden me. You will merely serve your purpose before fading away, as agreed upon by both our souls. Your job is to trigger me to grow further into my greatness. Thank you for your contribution to my journey. Ooh. Your souls agreed upon this. You will always be to others what they need you to be, whether that is a villain or a hero, has nothing to do with the truth of who you actually are. So just keep being you. Allow the people the opportunity to show you who they actually are, because they always eventually do. Don't listen to the sweetness of their words or their actions that are meant to sway your opinions. Watch them instead when they think no one is watching, to see who they truly are and not who they're pretending to be. So much truth you will see lies in what is left unsaid and shown in their hidden deeds. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Final one. Sometimes I am a wild woman. Sometimes I am a sage. Sometimes I am vulnerable. These are all valid parts of me. I am always a whole being. You are whole always, not just sometimes. So, what you need to do is stop the banishment of the parts of you that have the capacity to defend you. So long as you continue to exist in environments that do not feel safe to you in your heart, that do not feel safe for your softness to be explored, to be lived in, you will have this masculine aspect. I used to believe I'm aggressive. No, I have the capacity to be aggressive. What's the difference? Well, just because I have the capacity to be aggressive does not mean that I am. I also have the capacity to have softness that is incomparable. It compares to nothing else. So which one am I? Both. Dependent on what stands before me and what is asked of me. I am not aggressive. I have the capacity to be aggressive. Well, what makes you aggressive? Depends. What did you do? What did you do? What did you do that my ability to tap into aggression creates fear in you? Are you guys afraid of me? Why would you be afraid of me? For what reason? I've found the people who fear me are the people who had malignant intentions. Whether they spoke about it or acted upon it, it's irrelevant. They are aware, they are guilty. They are very, very guilty within themselves of wanting harm to come upon me. For what? What did I do to you? I stay home all the time. I don't chat with people. I don't talk about people. What exactly did I do? Not a damn thing. And it's okay. It's okay if not everyone likes me. They don't all have to. Not everyone has to like you. That doesn't diminish your value. It doesn't, protect this at all costs. Protect you at all costs. What the world needs to see from you now is your power, your unwillingness to yield to tyrants. That is what the world needs to see now. Yes. How long have you been made an example of? People use you to portray what? Weakness? Because you're patient? Because you make excuses for people? Because you see that they're hurting and that's the reason why they're lashing out? Because you see their potential and you think that if you just love them deeply enough, they'll be able to reach that potential. You want to help them heal. That's weak because they see you feel, because you are a living, breathing human being and you can feel. You hurt when they cut you. That's weak. No, that's real. Took me a very long time to learn. My perception of life was rooted in a weak frame of mind. I don't have to fight everyone and everything before it comes to destroy me. I don't have to be the first one to lash out. I don't have to be any of that. I don't have to be prepared and have contingency plan after contingency plan after contingency plan because what? Because I was afraid. It takes a truly powerful person to be able to continue to stand in their peace, to continue to be witnessed in softness despite what's being placed before them. And it takes a truly balanced, powerful person to know when softness is no longer appropriate. You can't address the entirety of life with one solution. Doing that is like trying to leave holes in your doors rather than doorknobs on every door and trying to use the same doorknob to open the bedroom, to open the closet, to open the bathroom door. I mean, really, you can't. There's no cookie cutter approach to life. So now you're being shown that your power is in your ability to retrieve the parts of you that were designed, the parts of you that were designed to protect you. Yep. This is a massive test that you're in. I think for all of us, it is a massive test that we are experiencing. And I think it's testing you in a different way than what you're accustomed to. Because for many of us, we think that when we're being tested, we're supposed to take the high road. We're supposed to be quiet. We're supposed to be docile because, that's evolved. No, that's enablement. It's not evolved. It's enablement. It's maybe even a trauma response. Yeah. When you never speak up, I think what you're being tested on is how loud your voice can actually be. I think that's what's happening. I absolutely feel like that's what's happening for many of us. Like for what Germanica was talking about, I'm glad you said something. I'm glad you put that person back in their place. Like, hey, more than just one of your little piggies has crossed the line. Unless you want to lose a whole foot, step back. Step back. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, I swear Lisa always had some Amazing things to say. Just remember, while seeing their potential, if you're careful, you start to lose. If you're not careful, you start to lose your totality in them, trying to save them. Hard lesson to learn. It's even harder to overcome. Yeah. I call that people projects. You know, when you find someone to make a project out of, I used to do this. You find someone to make a project out of, and you pour all of the time, energy, hope, and love into them, into growing them, into healing them. And this is all the stuff you're supposed to do for yourself. But now you realize, if you're having a person project, that's justification to withhold from yourself the very thing you're supposed to do for yourself. I used to do that so much. So much. And now I see all the ways in which I did that because I was afraid to do it for myself. You know, right, Shell, they never work. The people projects never work. Because see, what we're doing in the people projects is trying to create them into the potential that we're afraid to grow into. We're trying to create an external mirror of the parts of us that are attempting to emerge from the depths within us. And it's okay to be a good person and have other people witness it. It's okay to be an empowered person and have other people witness it. It's okay to witness it for yourself, about yourself. I think beautiful things are about to happen for so many of us. Next autumn might be a little upside down if you don't put the work in now to get your life and your perception of yourself right side up. It's also this sense of like the hand of creator grabbing a tree, turning it upside down and shaking it, right? Oh my gosh. We have this ongoing joke in my family, world upside down. World upside down. It's like it's an ongoing joke. It's a sarcastic threat of, if you're not going to, and no one gets put upside down, only George Floyd. The picture that I showed you guys, that's laying world upside down. So, you know, my kids will jokingly threaten each other. "Oh, I'll put you upside down, rolled upside down, turn you upside down." You know, if you're already upside down in your perception of yourself and the way you live your life, the way you treat yourself, would world upside down put you upside down, or would it put you right side up? Right? What if this is how you see things? And by autumn, you're going to eventually go through the process of world right side up. Right? This is an intense process that many people are in. Super intense, super duper duper intense. And I think for many of us, we have to really allow ourselves to recognize this correction needs to take place. It needs to. All right. Mirrored soul is going to approach you, and you're going to have things to celebrate about together, right? You're going to celebrate the type of learning that you will provide each other, celestial teacher. You're going to have many, many things to celebrate with each other. And the seeds are now being planted. See the seed? It's being planted within the heart, within the throat, through communication, within the third eye, due to your intuitive guidance, right? And even if you don't have the courage yet to verbally communicate, period, the heart and the mind is already connected. There's already a process that was initiated, and it's being allowed to ripen and come to fruition, whatever it is, right? Maybe it's the parts of you that need to come back home to you. Maybe this is merely the journey that you're on, or the part of your journey that clears out all that debris that we were talking about in the beginning of the reading, right? Someone has strewn all of their garbage all over your path, and that needs to be cleared out. Now, whoever this is that dumped garbage all over your path, they're not going to surrender to their process. They're going to blame everyone else, especially you. They're going to blame everyone else, especially you. And so you're going to be tasked to do what? Stand your ground. That's what you have to do. You have to stand your ground. They're not going to allow themselves to be aware of the ways in which they created this circumstance. It's still theirs. It's still theirs. It is not yours. It is not yours. They're probably also going to want you to be quiet about what they did to you. Why? I have this logic of, if you wanted me to say nicer things about you, then you maybe should have treated me nicer, give me nicer things to say. You maybe should have been a nicer person, right? Because what you're asking me to do is lie or silence myself about my life experiences. I've also found, and this might be beneficial for some of you, the best way to, for some situations, the best way to no longer be such a prime candidate for people like that to approach and try and latch onto is to be very, very vocal. To be very, very vocal, really speak about what was done openly, publicly, speaking factual details of what you lived through. When you speak factually, right? When you speak factually, that's not slander. When you write about factual things, that is not libel. It's not. It's not disparaging. It is your factual experiences. In the United States, that's not illegal. It is not illegal. It's just not. For you to speak about your life, that's not illegal. What you need to do, though, is make sure that you don't allow this to turn you into a person that you're not. Because for some of you, you're still also very, very private, right? It's okay to be private. What needs to be learned at this point is speaking when your soul encourages you to speak. I think for many of us, we quiet ourselves down rather than speaking loudly the things we need to say because. When has your silence improved the situation? Look back at your life. Look back at your life and consider all the different circumstances that you've lived through. The things that you've kept quiet on because you didn't want, any type of drama, right? Did it help when you stayed quiet? Did it solve it? Genuine question. Did it solve the issue? Or did it prolong the issue? To where eventually it ended up blowing up in your face, because since you were quiet, a manipulative person was able to spin the story in their favor. This. Yep. Sometimes the quiet things help us to recognize, but typically the silence leads to the trauma that will eventually become recognition. Do you have to be traumatized first? Is that a necessary part of your process for every circumstance? There's circumstance where that's not negotiable. You can't not have it. It's just kind of that circumstances, that's how it works, and it cannot be something avoided. But for many situations where we do this, it can be avoided. You can have that realization take place without having to first be traumatized when you listen to your intuition. Right? Thank you for commenting, Megan. When you listen to your intuition, when you allow your intuition to guide you, what ends up happening is you no longer operate in this space of, if I feel scared, then I shouldn't do it. Unless I feel super brave and fearless, then I shouldn't do it. No, all you need is more courage than fear. Calibrate the ratio. Calibrate the ratio so that you have more courage than fear, and then take the action that's necessary. The action that will lead to a resolution of whatever it is that needs to be resolved. For many of us, we kind of opt for, the trauma response route because we think we have no other choice. I know for many of the situations that I've personally lived through, I have assumed there were no other options, failing to see that there were, and inadvertently choosing the worst option possible. But I don't believe I made mistakes. I believe I ended up choosing the option that afforded me the greatest potentiality for elevated learning. I mean, elevations in learning require something to be given up too, right? Like, if you're going to go ahead and go to the highest degrees of schooling, there's an exchange there, not just money. There's an exchange for the life, the periods of your life that you will spend investing in the education. It's a massive exchange. Is it worth it though? I think for some, it is worth it. For others, it is not, right? You have two people, both are in the medical program. One chooses to go all the way and become an MD. That investment of years of their life that they will never get back was worth it. They love being a doctor. You have the second person who went all the way through the medical program, years of their life. And then they decided after they finished their residency, this is just not for me. I'm not happy. Ooh, ouch. That hurts. I mean, not only is that a large financial commitment, financial investment, years of your life that you will never get back is gone. How do we resolve this? I think there's two ways. The first way is very clear cut for me. It's this thing of, did you at some point earlier on in the medical program, or even before you entered into the medical program, did you already question if being a doctor was for you? Were you doing this for the future pay? Were you doing this because your family had this expectation? That's already a red flag. You should have quit then, right? That would have resolved it. I mean, it's not going to resolve it after the fact, but hearing about it now for those who are facing certain types of things and they're just starting that, I mean, that might prevent you from wasting time and energy. Now, the other way to resolve that is just recognizing that there were experiences that you needed to have. And the only way to have it is to go through that program. The end goal was never to be a doctor. The end goal was to have the experiences and connections that were necessary. And that it wasn't a waste of your time and your energy because you learned so much and it helped to cultivate certain types of characteristic in you, your perception, your ability to understand what you are capable of, like all these different things, all these different benefits that came from it. Maybe not the end goal benefit, but so many other benefits. So was that a waste? Absolutely not. I've had many people tell me that I wasted my education because I had such a heavy emphasis on biology, heavy emphasis on all sorts of science-based classes. I don't feel like it was a waste, though. How can it not be a waste? I mean, you didn't finish. No, I finished. I finished with what I was needing to do. The moment I no longer needed to be there, I wasn't. Well, it's still a waste. You didn't get a degree. Oh, yeah, because what I do doesn't require a degree. It just doesn't. I understand I'm not confined to the limitations of what humans believe are the limitations they have to live within. I didn't waste any of my time. All of that learning, all of that education that I had, and I still continue to have, it still continues to enrich me and benefit me in ways that don't need to be explained. As long as I know it, as long as I feel it, it is valid. Do you realize that? As long as you know it, as long as you feel it, as long as you embrace it, it is valid. That includes your fears. That includes the projection of other people's toxicity upon you. I don't think anything is a waste. All the things that you did and you stopped, you were done with that. You were done with that. It will add to whatever your purpose is. What you need to do now is figure out what your purpose is. I mean, my guidance counselor told me that my mind is messy. Being like 19, 20, he's like, oh, your mind is just messy. Look at all these different classes you're taking. Literally all the sciences in one unit, in one semester. What? I'm a voracious learner. I believe it was chemistry, biology, and physics in one semester, accelerated courses. Boo, I still got 4.0. That's the thing, though. Your mind works in the way it's working. Why not allow it to work in the way it's designed to? My mind will not work like other people's minds. My children's minds don't work like mine. The degree of intensity and potentiality, yes, absolutely aligned. The way it works, no, very different. One of my kids, to do one of my kids to do calculus, he just stares at the ceiling. And then he writes down the answer, and I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. You know, everyone's process is valid. I think what needs to happen now is allowing this messy situation, whatever mess it is, to affect you in the most beneficial manner. Let it trigger you into spaces of really allowing your unfoldment to occur. You've had yourself in timeout for so long. For why? 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 Why have you been in timeout? You know? Because someone told you something bad about yourself? You want me to tell you something? They have bad things about themselves too. So what does that mean? Yeah, let it go. Let it go. These bad things are nothing but an opportunity to learn. You know, it's just an opportunity to learn. And you have to stop allowing other people's insecurities become your own. Don't allow it to become your own. Some people are not on a soul journey. They're interested in simply marinating where they're at. That's okay. That's a valid decision. I'm here to tell you that that's not your decision. You know, because if you were meant to sit there forever with no growth, no movement, no nothing, I promise you, you would not be drawn to me in any way, shape, or form. You would not have anything nice to say about me. Your perception of me would be an extremely negative, very, very derogatory perception. You know why we have resonance? You know why you resonate with me? I am an external projection of your internal potentiality. I literally am a reflection of you. So, what does that mean? What does that mean? It means you have to begin observing yourself. It means you have to start seeing yourself with clarity. My perception of karma is not negative. The title, Karma, getting messy for them, not you. That definition of karma is negative. Absolutely. It portrays karma as though it is some type of punishment, divine punishment. Karma is not punishment at all. Karma is frozen light code, miasma, specifically miasmic distortions within your morphogenetic template. What does that mean? I like to make the analogy whenever someone speaks to me and asks me about karma. So you're taking a distance education course, an online class. You're watching the video. It's a recorded video. You need to take notes because you're going to be tested on this. As you are very passionately watching your course video, someone knocks at the door. Who is that? Well, you're kind of hungry. You need to answer the door. Are you going to leave the video running? No, you're going to miss crucial information. So, what are you going to do as a responsible student? You are going to pause that video. Then you can go answer the door. You can go ahead and make yourself a sandwich, blend up a cocktail for yourself, whatever it is you want to do. Maybe even take a nap before you continue the video again. When you have done everything that you need to do and you are ready to focus on learning once again, you go right back to that seat and you play the video. When you pause the video, that's miasma. That's karma. It's a lesson that's been paused, patiently waiting for you to be ready to continue what you're learning. There's nothing about punishment at all. Like at all. At all. How does it feel to have karma be explained to you in that way? Does it still feel like a punishment, or does it suddenly take on a very neutral type of stance? Karma is neutral. It's how we perceive the lesson we're learning that creates the positivity or negativity to it. Yep. Yep. So what we need to do now is what? Stop trying to change yourself. What? Yeah. Stop trying to change yourself. Your goal in this life is to undo all the programs that have convinced you that you are someone other than who you actually are. That includes this messy situation where someone is trying to convince you something erroneous so that they don't have to take accountability. There are those who know that the situation needs to be placed in someone's hand. They're hiding their hands and they're telling you to grab it. Why? Why? Because they know the consequence that will happen to whoever is holding on to that circumstance. Hold only the things that your soul places into your hands. Only that, nothing more. If you do that, you will continue to progress through your journey. As you progress through your journey, you will exit out of this state of duality and enter into a totality. Why is it important to enter into a totality? Because then you enter into your sovereignty. You don't need to be redirected. You know exactly where to go. In here, maybe not in here, but in here for sure, you know where to go. You don't need to be redirected. What needs to happen now is you need to fight for yourself. You need to fight for yourself. I'm taking this reading as a personal reading for me as well. I'm absolutely claiming this reading. Absolutely. I am going to claim this reading, and I'm not going to allow myself to revert back into any places that I know I have already outgrown. I hope that you claim this reading too. If it's resonating for you, I hope that you claim it and that it encourages you to really, really, really reclaim your space. Yep. I'm not going to fight senseless wars. I'm not senseless. I'm very aware of my journey, of myself. I am aware how much more I have to learn in this cycle that I'm currently in. You're going to go through many cycles through your entire life. It's perpetual cycles. Ooh, Germanica. I'm just ready to continue to grow and go after what serves me. You want to hear something profound? If it's for you, it will be hand delivered by creation itself. You don't have to chase anything. You don't have to go after anything. It will just arrive in perfect time, perfect measure. All you have to do is let go of the thing life is already trying to take out of your hand. You just have to let go. Is it fear that you're holding on to? Is it old traumas? Is it a belief structure that was never yours to begin with, but was impressed upon you? Ooh. Wow. People used to say to me, you must have been a really bad person in your past life to have to go through all this in this life. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. That type of Lisa, what did I tell you in your aura painting? What did I tell you was the message from your soul? Yeah. That right there. I mean, the only way I could respond to that would be to speak truth. What would I say? Well, the only thing that comes to mind is better to be a bad person in a previous life than to be the bad person that you are in this one. Yeah. What's worse? Being a bad person in a previous life and a good person in this? Or not even being connected to any of your previous existences and being a bad person in this life? Because what kind of good person would say that to you? What kind of good person would say that to you? I would totally end that conversation with, see you in the next life. Let's see how it plays out. Yep. Yep. That you've had tremendous lifetimes of goodness, and that in this life you chose a lot of difficulties to give you the opportunity to juxtapose the opposing polarities of experience. It's for the sake of experiencing awareness totality. It's a profound thing. Simple minded people who would say those types of things to you, Lisa, would never be able to understand a concept like that, you know? Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot asking me to behave in that type of environment. It's a lot. Oftentimes I can't. But I'm choosing different now. I'm definitely choosing different. And, that's something that we have to be reminded of, because you have the power to choose different as well at any given time. You can choose to continue to perpetuate, or you can choose something different. The choice is valid whichever way you go. Because remember, you don't need to be redirected. You're experiencing everything you need to experience when you are experiencing it, to further your development, to further your understanding. Now, when you go to a classroom, a lecture hall, and you choose to take a nap during the lecture hall, that is a choice. That is a choice, right? You're still going to have to be accountable when it comes test time, when it comes midterms time, when it comes to finals. You are still going to be held accountable for the learning that you skipped out on, because whatever excuse you want to put out there about why you couldn't do it. And even though the excuse is valid, it's still technically an excuse. Emmy, you can't make me feel bad because last night I had to work a 12-hour shift and I need the money. That's valid. You're exhausted, but it's still an excuse. You're still going to be held accountable. You don't have to explain anything to me. I'm not the one testing you. It is your soul. I am neutral in all of this. It is your soul, right? How many people have you lost sleep over to help them? How many people? And how many times have you lost sleep to help yourself? I know for many of us, it's I'll do it tomorrow. Yeah, I'll just do it another time. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. Like when it comes to you, I'll do it later. When it comes to everyone else, you drop everything you're doing to help them because, you know, I mean, we sometimes got to do that for ourselves, right? We sometimes got to do that for ourselves. And if we don't, who are we going to blame? I don't believe in blaming. I believe in accountability. Accountability has nothing to do with blame. Accountability has everything to do with observation and allowing yourself to be aware of the way you co-created, so that if you don't like the outcome, you know what to not choose again. There was this person that was a friend for a bit, and I sensed the fakeness, but I ignored it. And eventually, you know, that fakeness was eventually directed at me. And so that ended. And then I came across another person who had the same sweet qualities that I witnessed in the first fake person. And the moment I saw just a little glimmer of potential fakery, I'm good. No, thank you. I'm sure you're an amazing person. I don't believe you to be a bad person. I do believe that this will end in a toxic manner, the way this type of circumstance has ended toxically for me before. So I'm good. No, thanks. If you could kindly just be a good person somewhere else, I'm good. I just, and I had to learn this the hard way because I had to go through 18 months, 2 years, somewhere around there, worth of the same cycle repeating over and over and over. So long as you choose not to consciously retrieve the learning that these experiences are giving you, the cycle will continue to repeat. I mean, your soul is a responsible educational administrator. You're not going to be allowed to go to 3rd grade if you keep flunking 2nd grade. You're just not. You're going to continue to repeat that, okay? Card number 40, Blessing of Al-Hakim. Sell your cleverness and buy bewilderment. Cleverness is opinion, bewilderment is vision. The gift of wisdom, the blessing of Al-Hakim, gurgles up from your heart. Her blessing is evoked by life, like the laughter of a babe, joyfully responding to the playful tickle of the mother's hand. Wisdom can make divine sense of anything, especially of that where logic is blinded. How I revere the blessing of Al-Hakim of wisdom, for she is precious and welcome to me now and always, the dear friend who brings me such peace. A blessing of divine wisdom of Al-Hakim is being administered to your soul, watched over by Rumi himself. This is soul medicine. It is a spiritual gift of healing, prophecy, insight, and the capacity to surrender any impatient claim for what you cannot yet have. And this impatience, you want to get to the end zone. You think that's the goal, that the richness is in the end zone, the end destination. The richness is in the journey to get there. That's where it is. The richness is in the journey to get to your destination. It is not the destination, it is the journey to arrive. That is where the richness is buried. As you receive this gift, this blessing which happens at a soul level, your attitude to life becomes more curious, open, still, and receptive. You no longer have to drive the unfoldment of your desires into form. Remember what I was saying, what is meant for you is coming to you. It's going to be hand delivered, placed in your palms. You don't have to chase after it. You don't have to seek it out. You do have to seek your truth within yourself. As you seek your truth, you go through a process that alters your level of resonance, which then calls in the very things that are necessary. People talk about how vibration attracts to you. So if you vibrate higher, you'll have higher. In accordance with unified field physics, the oscillatory rate, the modulations in your oscillatory rate, it's inverse to your vibratory rate. What does that mean? When your vibration goes up, your oscillatory rate goes down. When the oscillation goes down, your frequency diminishes. As you raise your vibration, you become much more magnetic. That is how you draw things to you. But if you're not calibrated within the subharmonic that you're anchored in, you will draw to you the distorted resonance. It's like playing the piano, but playing it off key. You will draw to you the things that are off key. It's up to you what you want to do with that information. But resonance, it's not always a good thing. It's not. If you allow yourself to begin really looking at what it is you want and the ways in which you want to go about getting that, you'll begin to see where your fear is. What are you avoiding by choosing the path you've chosen? What are you avoiding? It's very rare to come across a human being whose choices are not a result of avoidance. What are you avoiding? If you take the path you don't want to take because you understand you're not taking it due to your fear, I promise you there are riches hidden in the path you're trying to avoid. Did you guys know that I never wanted to be a public speaker or publicly witnessed? That despite having social media profiles since the inception of social media, no one had ever heard my voice, ever, until about 2017. And boy, oh boy, soul had to twist my arm to make that happen. Soul had to absolutely twist my arm to make that happen. Why? Why did I avoid it so much? Did you know that even though I've had my YouTube channel since 2016, 2017, somewhere there, I didn't actually start creating content for YouTube until about 2019. Why? What am I avoiding? I think that's a perfect example. Because everything I sought, I could not find. The ways in which I looked for it created opportunities for DWS to access me, create havoc for me. All I had to do was walk the path that I avoided. But because I chose to avoid that very path, I struggled much more than I needed to. No, that's a lie. I needed to struggle through that to learn what I needed to learn. I struggled in ways I did not want to struggle. That's a more accurate way to word it. What was I avoiding? What was I afraid of that I avoided the path that eventually I ended up being on anyways? I guess to some degree, if I really allow myself to pull back and be completely neutral in this observation as though it wasn't me, well, if I was my client, what I would say is that I am observing your fear of receiving the very thing you know you're worthy of. You convinced yourself that you were not worthy of what? A community. So I continued to immerse myself in environments that would never welcome me in the way I needed, that would never support and celebrate me in the ways I deserve. How do you do that to yourself? Easily. because you've been doing it your whole life. I bet you don't even realize this is the process you've been in. This is the process that you've been in your entire life. Avoiding what you know is right for you because of your fear of your worthiness. That's one hell of a thing to wrap the mind around. Wrap it anyways. You rest in assurance that your daily application and effort is enough, and so is your surrender. Mental anguish is soothed, and you are able to accept the unfathomable nature of divinity in its expression of itself as life. You become comfortable with the reality that the price of being closer to the divine is a giving up of your need to always understand. There was no way I was going to understand what I just shared about my journey until now. There was no way I was going to understand that even last week. You gain the clarity and understanding when you reach the level of maturity that is necessary to understand with clarity. That is not something you can rush. That is not something you can force. That is something that unfolds naturally. Like the petals of a blossoming flower, you cannot force or rush that. You can merely provide what is necessary to encourage the flower to do what it does, or you can withhold it. You take a look at a rose. We value unrecognized potential. In society, this is what we value, the untapped potential. Because if you look at a rose, what's the standard? A long stem rosebud. And once it blooms, it's no longer valuable. Why? You look at the way we treat our elders. You look at the way we treat our women. Let's start there. Once you reach a certain age, once you're past 30, you're discarded. I barely started entering into my prime this year. Not even joking. I barely started entering into my prime this year. And it's only going to get better from there. How do I know this? Well, because I'm going to make it better. I'm going to continue to ripen and further delve into this process of loving myself more completely, wholeheartedly, unapologetically. How can it get worse? It can't, because I won't allow it. I will not participate in things that make it worse. And that is how I do not allow it. You're in full control. The illusion of something else controlling you is exactly that, an illusion. So you need to begin seeing clearly. And I think this karmic correction cycle that has been initiated is going to get real messy. I think some of the most beautiful art forms comes from mess. It's created in a messy space. Creation itself, cosmos, is the original chaos. Creation is chaos. Creation is messy. So what's happening right now? You're being placed in the seat of creator so that you can create your pathway to your potential. You just have to allow this to stop distracting you. Whatever this is, whatever someone is trying to convince you is your fault, when you know dang well you didn't do anything. No, don't allow it to continue. Finally set it straight. Set them straight. Set it straight. Whatever it is, straighten it out. You want to come at me crooked, I will straighten you out. Yep. You want to come at me crooked, I will straighten you out. One of my most go-to phrases as I'm giving someone the option to choose to bow out of being straightened out is a simple question. Are you sure you want to have this conversation with me? Are you sure you want to have this conversation with me? Are you sure you want to start this conversation with me? How do you feel hearing that? Or you're trying to gaslight me into something. You're trying to convince me that something is my fault. And I'm not responding. When I finally do respond, it's a simple question of, are you sure you want to start this conversation with me? You sure you want to go there? If I heard that from someone, I'd be like, oh. Is there a detail of something that I did that can be used against me? Did I forget something here? Yeah. I would be like, no, I don't. No, I don't. Yeah, no. I would say crooked ass is better than crooked cooter. Okay, let me stop. That's it. Well, live stream's done. Because I already know where my humor is about to go. And I've been doing really well at behaving myself for the most part. I've been doing really well at behaving myself. So I'm going to keep my streak going. I'm going to get going, guys. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Ooh, quick reminder. I think I mentioned it. I do have another cycle of my certification program that's going to be running. If you're not sure exactly what it is I teach in the certification program, go watch last night's SWS fundraiser event on my channel and platforms. Oh my God, my team was amazing. Badasses. I'm so proud of them. I am so proud of them. I just, yes, I have another cycle that will be starting in a few months. And now is a perfect time to go ahead and set that up. Go join the certification program. Make it happen for yourself. Make it happen for yourself. It's going to completely change the way you see yourself, your understanding of your capacity, your capability, your power. I have, right, Shell? I was so proud of them. I was cheesing it the whole time. The whole time I could not stop smiling. Oh, my babies. My CP babies. No, they're not babies no more. They're badass. Badass. All right, I gotta go. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Join me when I'm live. I'll see you guys again very soon. Bye, everyone.